Good morning, everybody. We're balling, we're working, we're grinding. How we doing this fine May 21st, 2024? Rob, good morning. My brother, everybody who's joining us from the future, watching this via replay, good morning. It's great to have you. It's been a phenomenal week, and we're looking to keep that momentum going, right? It's nothing like last week, right? Monday of last week, we were waking up to GameStop going nuclear, and we've got, over 1,000% return on these bad boys, and it wasn't anything like that. That's not something you want to expect from the market each and every week because that's not going to happen. But the fact that we could put together two back-to-back 1,000% option trade plays with GameStop and with AMC, pretty phenomenal. 1,000% means we went from $87 a contract to $870 per contract, right? And they were even more that next day as GameStop gapped up again. So GameStop was far in excess of 1,000%, right? 2,500% by the time it was said and done. And AMC hitting almost near 1,000%, depending on your strike. Some of those got there, some of them didn't. And that was last week on Monday and Tuesday. We didn't quite do that. Right. We had XLE that wanted to fake out on us and close back beneath breakout levels. So we had to close that for a loss. But you can't win them all, right? In the L pattern, we had, XLE come in off the back of some Black Swan event, right? With Iran's president dying in a helicopter crash. Can't control that. What you can control is making sure that you're in the environments where preparation, right, occurs so that when opportunity comes knocking, you're available. Last week, right, and in the preceding week, I talked about how Bitcoin was at a nice area of support, about how we were shaping up a nice weekly hammer reversal candle, which is bullish, meaning that it was looking to go up after that. And now we're pushing. Bitcoin is up like 15% from where that call out occurred. And this stuff is important because it matters when you get into something, right? Especially if you're trading, but namely investing as well because of opportunity cost, right? There are tons of people that FOMO'd into, Bitcoin as we were heading into the month of the halving. And historically, Bitcoin goes down at the month headed up to the halving. So what did I do? Hopped on here and said, hey, I'm taking profit on my crypto at this point, right? If you're expecting it to go up into the halving, it probably won't. So if you need that money to do something else, it's fine for you to go ahead, take it and rotate it. And I think that that's what people don't recognize, that opportunity cost. Yeah, if you're investing in something long term, you just keep dollar cost averaging and investing and investing and investing. But for a lot of people, right, they hear something, they finally get, corralled into it through FOMO, and then they're expecting these amazing things, and then they don't happen, and they think, oh, this thing is flawed, right? Well, it's not flawed. It's not Bitcoin's fault. We just have to make sure that we're doing what's necessary on our end to control what we can control and make the best moves at the best time, right? Like us hopping into silver before this historic run, as silver's having the best month that it had since the summer of 2020, right? And SLV is something that we've been in now for over a month in anticipation of this move, and then that move comes through, right? And now you've got silver that's absolutely crushing it. Who's in on that? Us, right? When you look and you say, okay, silver is crushing it, we're in on it. For the year, oil is crushing it, we're in on it. When you look at Bitcoin, we've been on top of each major move of Bitcoin, and we're not even crypto people, right? We're stock options and stock market trading people. But once you know how to read a chart, that helps you no matter what chart you're reading, right? It helps you to be able to make the best entrance and exit decisions, no matter what it is that you're trading. Futures, forex, crypto options, all of it. It helps with all of it. And we were also able to make a nice, pretty penny off of Mara in these crypto-related stocks like Coinbase. Hopped in Coinbase and Mara longer call swings last week. Coinbase has got multiple call-outs, and Coinbase went nuclear yesterday, right? Even got a call-out yesterday, said, hey, it's not too late. And even from that call-out, we went straight lunar, right? Moonbound, even from the latest call-out on Coinbase, and Coinbase gapping up here overnight again, as we're up significantly from where I just posted a little video yesterday of me doing a little dance with Coinbase. I was Dr. Evil, right? And then Coinbase was the mini me, and I was like, we're preparing for our big performance coming soon. Right. So plenty of free game dropped here each and every day. For my people that are like, oh, it's so tough to get any good information now. Everyone's gatekeeping. There's free info everywhere, right? Free info everywhere. And if you want to apply, you would apply. So for my people looking to apply that information, this is where you can get that great information. You can also get the means to apply it. So if you want help executing in markets or learning, whatever, email me, adam@adamhollandeducates.com. Closed mouths don't get fed. So open up and prepare to get 1% better. As we had, NVDA, Apple, Mara, Coinbase, a lot of those come through for us yesterday to keep up the hot week. Not as hot as last week. That was surface of the sun hot with the 2,000% plays, but still hot in its own way. This whole thing is brought to you by Kaizen, right? It's a movement. It says right here on the shirt, the philosophy of constant improvement. Every day is an opportunity to improve, even if it's by only 1%. It's not about being invincible, it's about being unstoppable. That's the main thing. You can't be invincible, especially in markets. There will be things like a president dying in a helicopter crash. You can't do anything about it, right? We're not invincible, but one thing we are is unstoppable. We're making sure that whatever the big moves that are happening, we're involved in the majority of them. We're making sure that we are managing our losers, that we are nurturing our winners, and that we are constantly moving in a way where we get consistently better each and every day, that we lay our head to the pillow. We're going to have a 3-day event focused on exactly this, centered around stocks for day one and AI, right? For the next 2 days, stocks and AI related stocks will be day one. And that event is the Kaizen event because we're in a time now where this whole philosophy of this Kaizen movement is more important than ever because of the quantum leaps that we're going through in terms of technological changes right now. Right. I posted a video yesterday. I didn't post it on Instagram. I'll post it here. I posted it to Facebook, but it's Mark Cuban. They were interviewing him about AI, and he said straight up, essentially what the sentiment is, right? If you're not tapped into kind of the heartbeat of what's going on right now in terms of technological development, he said, if you don't know AI, at this point, you are going to fail. And I'm not a person to ever speak failure over anyone's life, but that is where we're at. I don't even believe you can fail. I think you just win or you learn. But this isn't something that you want to be on the learning side of after the fact. It's one of those things where it will be equivalent to the internet. If you don't know how to use the internet now, there aren't many jobs that you can go out and do. It's the same thing with AI at this point, right? It's like, and it's not even like, oh, tomorrow or in a year. It's right now. It's right now. And that's why I decided to do this. You guys have, I've talked about it, but I haven't done so in an educational way or like having an event around it because I'm just leaving it to you guys. I'm sticking with the stock things, but we're at a point now where it's like a major breaking point where it's like, I want my people and anyone who wants to come along to be able to circumnavigate this and make it through it and not have to, say, because unfortunately we're at that timeline where you don't have 2 years to learn about it gradually or 5 years where you can come. No, it's like something where you know it now, or there's somebody who, because again, they're still doing these layoffs. There's somebody who has 5 years working at Google, just got laid off, and knows how to use it very well. They could probably do the work of a whole department just themselves. So that's what we're looking at. That's what we're competing against. Not just the AI, but also people that have a lot more impressive resumes, right? They're like, oh, I went to Yale and so, and I just got laid off after 15 years at Meta. Who's not going to hire that person, right? And they're like, I have a bot army working for me. You don't have to pay me anymore, but I can do the work of 10 people. That's what we're competing against, right? Those same people in the Philippines who, do all the outsourced kind of tech work and stuff like that. They're also feverishly learning it. So it's like you're up against so much, and you're never sent here where you are up against something that you can't triumph over, but you've got to take the tools that are available. You got to take the tools that are available and execute at the times in which you're supposed to execute on that. Right? We talk about biblical stories. No matter what religion you believe in or anything like that, you can find great stories that have important meaning in each and every text. And just when you talk about Noah in the Bible, God could have stopped the storm. He didn't stop the storm. Right. And this is a great message that Pastor Stephen Chandler taught here at Union Church. He was talking about how, like, there is wisdom that you get through the storm that you don't get from prayer alone. Right. So there's an element of belief, but then there's an element that's ingrained in every religion about you evolving and you changing as a person and you making a conscious decision to change and having to execute and enable action in order to do that, right? So it's the same thing where it's like, stop just believing things will go away because they won't. I'm sure the milkman was like, man, I hope these, delivery services go away, or, what else is obsolete? Like, there's so many things that are obsolete. People are like, oh, I wish this would just change. It won't, right? This is a challenge that is giving you the opportunity to rise to the occasion and accumulate some wisdom and execute on it, and also prove why you were given this honor to be able to draw breath on this earth, right? You could have been a caterpillar, you could have been a dust particle, and instead you've got the ability to freely think. It's time to use it, right? And band together and make sure that we're going to be okay no matter what happens, no matter what plane that goes down or what meme stock is running or what precious metal is doing this or AI is doing that. Kaizen, baby. 1% better. That's how we're locked in. All right. All right, all right, all right. There are two in the chat if you're ready to go after that nice little intro, getting us into the mode to continue to crush markets. And speaking of metals, we'll get started here with our top news: the winning metal. So the Metal Olympics are taking place in the wild world of commodities, with gold, silver, and copper-based bronze all scoring a place on the podium. New highs continue to be notched in the latest games, though there is skepticism about the results and the possibilities of a great performance. However, for those betting on the medal might be awarded next, there is plenty to consider for all the competitors. Gold, the yellow material, just hit levels of over $2,450 per ounce, despite a strong American economy and U.S. dollar. Analysts have pointed to a coming Fed pivot on interest rates, as well as geopolitical tensions that have increased demand for the safe haven. Not only are investors getting involved, but there has been a large amount of buying from central banks, while the retail crowd is getting in on the action with gold bars from Costco, which has been fun. It's been like an ongoing thing with Costco making headlines because they're supplying everyone with these precious metals. Silver, that's our train. The metal has outperformed gold in recent weeks, right? Bringing its total gain to 32% year to date compared to gold's 18% return. So you're getting double the return being in silver rather than being in gold. It matters what you're in, right? Definitely does. It also benefits from all the safe haven attributes of its shiny cousin, such as a popular hedge against inflation, along with some distinctive practical qualities of its own. Silver is used for industrial purposes like solar panel cells and relatively cheap in ounces when compared to pricey gold. And then copper, the latest rip has made numerous headlines after hitting all-time highs on exchanges across the globe. Fear of supply shortages and trade disputes has helped generate buzz around the industrial bellwether, which is also key for the green transition and rising electrification needs. Copper is used in EVs, wind turbines, power transmission, and AI data centers, meaning there are actual supply and demand fundamentals to assess when evaluating the world of the red metal. Now, too shiny, the commodity competition can experience chaotic events with scandals and manipulation hitting items like nickel and cocoa in recent years. There is speculation that this might be going on this time around, triggered by leveraged contract buying, short squeeze momentum, or price premiums on different exchanges. Others see a lot of metal potential that has even resulted in some real-world M&A action, such as BHP's $39 billion takeover proposal. Of Anglo American, which would create the world's top copper producer. So commodities are pushing, gold, silver, copper are pushing. And that's something you always want to keep in mind. There's always something somewhere that is doing well. And you want to put yourself in environments where you aren't restricting yourself. We talk about all different types of asset classes here, right? We'll talk about crypto. We talk about stocks. We talk about commodities. We trade all of them. I'll never understand this Western philosophy that there has to be this dichotomy between, oh, it's us or it's them. No one says, oh, you can only be a crypto guy. I feel like people that are crypto people sometimes are like, this is the best asset class, hands down, and I won't touch anything else. Why? Other things pay. I also know people on the other side of that, right? Like your Charlie Mungers, and they're like, crypto is cancer, right? He equated it to what? Herpes? He was like, crypto is herpes. I'm never going to touch it, right? It's all about the safe haven assets that you can touch, that you can feel, that are physical. Both of them pay, and both of them are paying right now. There's no rule that says if I trade crypto, I cannot trade commodities, or if I trade commodities, I cannot trade crypto. In fact, you should look to do both because there's no reason why you would limit yourself. If your boss said, "Hey, I can cap your salary at 100K," or you could be making 300K. You're like, "Nah, I'm gonna cap my salary, man." You could make 150K working with just the red team, or you could work with the red and the blue team. You can make 400K. Why would I not? Right? And it requires no extra work of me. It requires no extra work of me. I'm not going to close myself off. That's like you going through a drive-through and you're like, "Oh, I'm only going to order from one half of the board." Why? There's no law that says you have to do that. It's just some like weird thing where it's like, "Oh, I've got to be Democrat or Republican. I've got to be pro-life or pro-choice. I've got to be, new assets, new age assets, or traditional age assets." You literally don't. Right, you literally do not have to do that, and I would encourage you to not do that and to change that way of thinking because multiple things pay, right? Multiple things pay. You can be involved in stocks and trade them and make great money. You can be involved in and invest in them. Same thing with crypto. Same thing with commodities, right? In fact, we're doing all three at once. We're in trades currently on Bitcoin, crypto-related tickers, Apple, right? Normal classic tech stocks, as well as commodities. So there's nothing that stops you from being involved there. So I'd encourage you to really ingratiate yourself in a community like this one, where we're talking about all the different things available instead of like one thing and excluding everything else when everything else still pays. And even with the manipulation that goes on, like with something like Game or AMC, you know that it goes on. When you know the system and you have a system of your own, you're good. I don't care if they manipulate this crap. I've already got my profits, right? So it's like, "Oh, this is why you shouldn't trade it." The money's still cashed out on GameStop, right? I feel like a lot of people came out and were like, "They can't halt you on crypto. That's why you should trade crypto." Cool, that's true, but I ran up 1,000% in a weekend and literally had to do nothing. So it's like, I don't really care about the whole principles of like, "Oh, they can scam me." I scam them. Try and scam me. Continue to try and scam me because I've been doing this for years. So it's like that the whole bring it on, right? That's why I have the rules that I have. If we gap up, I'm taking profit. Like try it. We'll see. But at this point, there isn't really anything that I haven't seen between COVID and all this other stuff to the point where once something's happened before, as long as you're taking inventory of what's going on, you can make sure that the next time around you're good. So especially with something like meme stocks where we've seen what happened before, you know what they're going to do. If I know what you're going to do, I can plan for it. Right, I can plan for it, I can account for it, and I can control what I can control to make sure that I still win. Um, so that's what I'm going to continue to do, right? And that's what we do here in this Kaizen crew. On the move, pulling a 180, cryptocurrencies are back in rally mode as traders increasingly bet on the approval of the first spot Ether ETF. While the industry previously did not expect the SEC to give the green light, which we talked about yesterday, the regulator has reportedly requested that ETF issuers update 19B4 filings on an accelerated basis. The development signals some progress, but it doesn't mean it's a done deal. Ether, ETHUSD is still going up big on the news, soaring 20% to $3,708. The SEC's decision on VanEck Spot Ether ETF application is expected on Thursday, and one from ARK Invest is due on Friday. So yesterday it seemed like, oh, it would be iffy if we ended up getting this Ethereum ETF validation right from the SEC, but over the course of yesterday, it seemed like those odds flipped. Right, they flipped from like being 25% to like 75% on the back of this news. So it's beautiful about the charts, right? Luck is when preparation meets opportunity. If the charts look great, news typically comes out in vain that makes a stock push, right? Happened with GameStop, happened with AMC, same thing here, where it's like if you can read the charts and you know what's happening, news is released on the back of that because we're not the only people that are able to read charts. Companies know if we get over this certain level, our stock can rocket. So if we get over that level and I drop some news, we can really, really rip up, right? Um, so once you learn how to read the charts, you do so much for yourself, figuring out where to get in, figuring out where to get out, finding places where you can get lucky. Like that was something that I didn't even anticipate, but you find yourself being in things where it's like, wow, this is crazy. But it's because, the chart said that there was opportunity. they're just looking to double down on their opportunity, right? They're looking to throw some NOS like Fast and Furious style, where they're like, I already have a path to big profits. If I throw on the extra jet boosters right here, that could really shoot us up. Now, and both of these, by the way, things that we've been involved in, right? Crypto pulling that 180, and then commodities reaching these new highs. We're in both. Big thing to underscore. In the world of financials, Wall Street leadership, succession plans are well on the way at JP Morgan, with Jamie Dimon saying it's up to the board to determine how much longer he'll remain CEO. Quote, I think when I can't put the jersey on and give it my full effort, I should leave, he announced at the bank's investor day, adding that the timetable is not 5 years anymore. Jamie Dimon also outlined that that the lender will not repurchase a lot of stock at current prices, noting that such a buyback at a valuation of 2.3 times tangible book value would be a mistake. JPM shares slipped 4.5% following the comments on Tuesday, but are up more than 40% over the past year. Yeah, banks are killing it. They've been paying us. Whenever Jamie Dimon does retire, we'll lose an icon, but he'll still be out here and alive. He just won't be talking as much as he talks now. Outlook bear capitulation. One of Wall Street's prominent bears has finally turned positive. Jeez, oh my gosh. Imagine turning positive now after missing out on this run to all-time highs from all these different stocks. This is what I'm talking about, that dichotomy. You're on Wall Street, man. It's your job to leverage movement in both directions. Why the heck are you calling yourself a bear or a bull? You don't get an award for being like, hey, you stuck with one side your whole life. Here's your dedication award. No, man. Play whatever the charts are telling you is most likely to happen. It's crazy to me that you can even have a title like this. It like doesn't it doesn't work. Like it's literally counterintuitive. It's like uh I don't even know. I'm trying to think. It's like if you play basketball, but you only did like layups. It's like it's the game of basketball. You're supposed to be able to do all these different things. You're like, nah, I'm a strictly layup king. So how are you on Wall Street, right? The NBA of the financial world. You're in Wall Street and you're only shooting layups. What if the situation necessitates a 3-pointer? Nah, I'm gonna leave that to Steph Curry. I ain't on the 3-point side. I'm on the layup side. It makes zero sense. So I'd like everyone to think about this, because people, are like, oh, I'm a perma bear, or I'm a perma bull. So the time when it's not going in the direction you like, you just lose. That makes no sense to me, right? It makes no sense, especially being a perma bear, because markets go up more often on average than when they go down. So you're just really getting cooked. Like if you're a perma bear, you are really, really, really getting cooked often, because markets over the course of time, they go up. But Mike Wilson, this is the guy, equity strategist at Morgan Stanley, now calls for the S&P 500 to rise to 5,400, higher than his previous year-end target of 4,500, which was one of the lowest on Wall Street. The forecast is derived from a 19x PE multiple and 12-month forward EPS based on June 2026 of $283. Quote, this earnings path is based on our economist growth forecast output from our earnings models and our view that AI diffusion will boost margins in 2025. Yeah, man. Doesn't take some crazy, earnings models to say AI will probably continue to push things higher this year. You probably saw that ChatGPT 4.0 debut and was like, holy crap, there's no way the market doesn't go boom, boom rockets with this. Today's markets, actually mostly red except for Bitcoin. In Asia, Japan down 0.3%, Hong Kong down 2.1, China down 0.4, India down 0.1. The footy in London down 0.4, Paris down 1%, Frankfurt down 0.4, Dow flat, S&P flat, Nasdaq down 0.1, basically flat. Crude oil down 1.4%, still not liking what's happening with Iran's president and the craziness with his death. Gold down 0.6%, Bitcoin up 5.8% to 71,000, $4, up even more now. Today's economic calendar, we got Barkin, Waller, Williams, Bostic, Barr, all speaking today. No one really cares, knock on wood, about what they have to say. It's not Powell and occasionally Kashkari. It really, truly does not matter. What else is happening? We got our rapid fire stock news rundown here. Grunberg to quit as FDIC chair after toxic work culture scandal. Mester, more data needed before Fed cuts as inflation progress stalls. Palo Alto Networks, PA&W, tumbles after lower billings guidance. fine with that. We got time on our PA and W long call swings, and those are something that we're paying to heading into. And by long calls, these are actually leaps, but those are something too that we're paying heading into earnings. Where if you wanted to take some risk off the table for earnings, completely had the opportunity to do so. For Palo Alto Networks, they will be fine. It will be fine. OpenAI to pause ChatGPT voice as it resembles Scarlett Johansson. I saw that this morning. I don't know if you guys saw it, but apparently Sam Altman, complete rat activity. Sam Altman reaches out to Scarlett Johansson and says, "Hey, can we use your voice for ChatGPT 4.0, our new voice model, and it'll help merge the worlds between technological innovation and creatives, like in-person creatives and da da da." Like trying to paint this really elaborate picture to say, "Can we use your voice for this AI?" And she said no. And then they are building up to ChatGPT 4.0 being released. And then they email her one more time, like, "Hey, are you sure?" He reached out to her lawyers, like, "Hey, are you sure? Like, don't you guys want to be a part of this?" And then before they could even respond, they just dropped it. And like then suddenly she's seeing all these demos of ChatGPT 4.0 functioning using literally her voice, right? And to go even further, if you guys watch this movie, kind of weird movie, but it's called Her, where Joaquin Phoenix falls in love with an AI. It's years old, but super timely now. Falls in love with an AI, and he gets heartbroken because I won't ruin it for you. It's worth a watch, right? It's worth a watch, especially if you like sci-fi type movies. I won't ruin it. But she voices the bot called Her. Well, Sam Altman tweets right after they debut ChatGPT 4.0 and just tweets Her. So it's like, dude, are you just trying to get smacked in the face with litigation at this point? Because you reached out, she said no, you can't use my voice. You use her voice anyways, and then you literally incriminate yourself by tweeting about something in a movie that's a product that you just came out with that used her voice in the movie, and now you're using her voice in the product. Like, dude, what? So I think they paused the use of the Sky voice, which was her voice. It was called Sky. It starts with the same letter as her name, too. So anyway, I mean, I think at this point he's probably just like, dude, I don't care. Like I don't think he cares about people that tell him no, which is a scary thing. But at the same reason, it's the same reason why I want to understand why all this stuff works, right? At least have some type of idea, because for today it's a tool, and the future might be an enemy. But still, I want to know about you, right? Either way, it's like I'm going to keep up with this. It's kind of like how people always keep tabs on Musk. Like, I don't know if I'm a fan. I don't know if I'm, a hater. But at the end of the day, I want to know what you're doing, because this is stuff that can affect everyone. EV drama, Tesla shareholders to vote on Elon Musk's pay package. China's Li Auto postpones all-electric SUV launch until 2025. Hims and Hers sell cheap versions of GLP-1 weight loss drugs. This was big because these GLP-1 drugs, that is the Ozempic, right, from Novo Nordisk and Eli Lilly, how they have their weight loss drugs. Hims is dropping and I'm annoyed too because I saw chatter about Hims last week, but it's just there's so much, guys. There's so much involved in markets to the point where it's tough to be involved in everything. You can't be involved in everything. But Hims gapped up basically because they're selling generic versions of Ozempic for I think it was $100 a month, whereas now Ozempic is like $1,000 per month. So yeah, significant discount. And that's something that can affect your Novo Nordisk and your Eli Lilly's. Hims out here crushing it, making a name for themselves. Bad dad joke. Anyways, Trump media, DJT reports hefty quarterly loss on very little revenue. CalPERS to oppose all Exxon Mobil directors in shareholder dispute. Yeah, big guys arguing the board. What else is new? Other than that, guys, that's pretty much everything we got going on here in this beautiful, beautiful day of a session. Again, all this is brought to you by Kaizen. That idea that getting 1% better and being unstoppable is key. Unstoppable, not invincible. You're going to get cut. You're going to get knocked down. The key is that you have a community around you that is focused and aimed toward the same goals as you, and not just bringing knowledge, but instituting, right, and implementing and applying that knowledge is key. That's where you reach wisdom. Wisdom is knowledge applied, right? When you can be a nice college graduate, but if you've never worked in the lab and you've never opened somebody up in surgery, you've never done that, that information does not translate into wisdom unless there's application, right, application that puts that wisdom, that knowledge to action. So that's what we're about here within this community. I'm happy for each and every person that stops through, passes through, and I'm excited for everything to come. Right, let's continue to level up, win together, and crush it. Other than that, guys, I'll see you back here tomorrow morning for our next pre-market prep session. Have a good one and a great day. Peace.